Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, it's great to see everyone, and welcome to this special meeting that we're really pleased to present to you today. I'm really happy to see your faces. I wish we were doing this in person, but we hope that this is the next best thing for you. We want to bring to you today all the great things that are happening in our specials classes with your children. Often we don't get to see that and hear about it. And so we thought it would be nice to bring the teachers together and for them to have an opportunity to share with you all the really cool things that are happening in their classrooms. So we're delighted for you to come and be a part of this day today. We do want you to know that these specials classes are an essential part of our curriculum. Our curriculum is rich, it's challenging, and it's balanced, and we highly value these classes. So that's why we felt that it was important for us to have an opportunity to present to you today all the cool stuff that they really are doing with your children. There might be times when you hear snippets of what they might be learning in Spanish or music or in PE or in art. It might be at bedtime, it might be when you're singing songs together, it might be bath time. Those are some of the times when you might be getting pieces of what they're learning in these classes. But I thought it was really nice for us to have an opportunity to share with you the richness of these programs. So today we're really pleased to bring to you our 5 specials teachers. We're going to be presenting to you Kirsten Renas, our music teacher, Brett Rossberry, our PE teacher, Lynn Manuel, our art teacher, Tony Lombardo, our technology coordinator, and in Spanish is Carlos Chavez. Now, to avoid feedback, what we're going to do is we will be muting the audience, but if you do have questions or comments, you're welcome to submit them into our chat box, and we'll be happy to address them for you today. So we're going to go ahead and get started right away. We're going to honor your time, and we're going to go ahead and get started. First, I'd like to introduce to you today our music teacher, Kirsten Renas. Kirsten?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's really great to see everybody who's here right now. I'm your music teacher, Miss Kirsten, and I received my bachelor's in music education from Central Michigan University, where I majored in voice, and I got a minor in cello. I also play the piano, I play the bass guitar, a little ukulele, and of course, I'm a music teacher, so I play the recorder. This is my 5th year teaching at Dearborn Heights Montessori, and I am just ecstatic to have found this great home. When I'm not at school, I sing professionally with different organizations in the area. I play video games, and I make a mean cheesecake. My goal every year is to give your children the gift of loving music. That's my main goal every year. We're still singing and playing instruments in a safe manner, but we're also incorporating more listening and hands-on practice of musical elements this year. I'm including an additional goal for the year, which is finding peace through understanding music. This includes more opportunities for mindful listening to music, as well as times of guided breathing and stretching to music to calm our minds and bodies while we navigate this difficult time. We've taken many safety precautions this year, including sanitizing instruments between uses, reducing the amount of whole group singing for older children to limit the spread of aerosol particles, and only having 1 group of students in the music room per day. We're going to start with our toddler music classes and work our way up. So in toddler music, we meet twice a week in the toddler room, where I come in on Mondays and Fridays for about 20 minutes. For every level, I'm going to start with the basics that we learn, and then every level we're just going to build up what do we add to that. So in toddler music, we sing songs that are mostly led by me. Very few of the toddlers will sing along, but when they do, that's exciting. Sometimes we sing silly songs, sometimes we sing songs that tell a story, sometimes our songs help us count. We perform finger play and action songs like Itsy Bitsy Spider and Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes. We keep the beat while listening to music and singing songs. We might keep the beat on our bodies or with handheld instruments. Children are introduced to handheld rhythm instruments such as the jingle bells, the maracas, and the rhythm sticks. We move to music and we explore loud and soft, fast and slow, and high and low pitch. So we start with those big extremes. In preschool and kindergarten, I see our pre-K children on Mondays and Fridays for 25-minute classes. Right now, I'm going into their classrooms, but within the next week or two, we'll start having them alternate coming to the music room so we can spread out a little bit more easily for movement activities and singing with the piano. On Mondays, Ms. Jenna's class will come to me, and on Fridays, Ms. Christie's class will come to me. In pre-K music, we review concepts from the previous level and we build on them by also introducing echo songs, call and response songs, and a wider range of notes for them to sing. We still keep the beat while listening to music, but this time students introduce their own ways of keeping the beat on the body. And we use movement to show what we hear in the music. We use handheld instruments to accompany our singing, and we introduce a wider variety of instruments, such as triangles, drums, hand chimes. Now we're introducing some melody to it with hand chimes, and sand blocks. We play games that encourage solo singing, and we reinforce musical concepts, we've learned so far. We're also introducing the concept of musical notation and primitive composition, just with things as easy as drawing a line and singing how high and low that line goes. I see our lower L students on Tuesdays and Thursdays for 40 minutes. On Tuesdays, they are the class that comes to my room, and on Thursdays, I come to their class. I meet with our virtual students once a week via Zoom, and I also provide them with activities they can do on their own during the week. In lower L music, we build on previous levels by also learning how to read notes on the staff, as well as learning more about the different elements of music: rhythm, pitch, melody, harmony, form, texture, expression. We learn about one new composer each month and listen to their music. We experiment with elements of music through individual and group compositions, and we incorporate keyboard instruments like the xylophone, metallophone, and glockenspiel. Upper L, I see our Upper L students on Tuesdays and Thursdays for 40 minutes. On Tuesdays, I go to their classrooms, and on Thursdays, they come to the music room. I meet with our virtual students once a week via Zoom and also provide them with activities they can do on their own during the week. Upper L music looks very similar to lower L music as far as the structure and the concepts are concerned. But in Upper L, we delve deeper into those concepts. We learn more complex songs with multiple parts, and we incorporate more composition opportunities, especially for more formal written composition. Upper L students are also studying the ukulele this year instead of recorder. So this is the instrument that they're using this year. This is the exact version that they are using. It's a safer option for our students this year than recorder because recorder is a wind instrument. We don't need those air particles blowing all over the place now. Students are learning to play a variety of chords, learning to accompany themselves while singing, and learning how to tune their instruments. We are all really excited about ukulele this year, and we can't wait to see how it goes. The Upper L kids had their first lesson on ukulele last week, and they were just as pleased as punch. So we're really excited. Finally, with our middle school elective, I see 2 to 3 students each unit for beginner piano. This class is geared towards students who have not taken any piano lessons or have very limited piano lessons, but would like to learn the basics of how to play. We review music theory basics, piano technique, and building good practice habits. Each student uses their own keyboard for class in the classroom. Well, I have keyboards they can use in the classroom so that we can all play together in a safe way. Students perform 2 pieces for their classmates and staff at the end of the unit and talk about their process leading up to it. So that's our music this year. I'm excited and honored to be your children's music teacher again this year, and I'm looking forward to working with them to find joy and peace in music. So thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten. Delightful. And you know what? she's right. Those Upper L students are so excited about ukulele this year. Although I also have to say that they were really excited. I stepped into one of her classes yesterday and joined them when they were very enthusiastically participating in Who You Gonna Call? Ghostbusters. So that was fun too as well. Fun one to do this time of year. So thank you, Kirsten. We appreciate all that information and know that it's great stuff for our students. So thank you for that. Next up, we'd like to introduce to you our physical education instructor, Brett Rossberry. Brett?
Hi everybody, my name is Brett Rosbury. I'm a graduate of Michigan State University and I am in my 10th year now at Dearborn Heights Montessori Center. And a few things about my physical education program. My core values are going to be stressed on self-responsibility, respect, and compassion for others. Life skills that we're building in my classes include physical, mental, and emotional experiences rather than information. I show students why it's important to exercise and eat healthy rather than just telling them why it's important. I like to give students opportunities to be successful and build a strong foundation to promote skill development. And in the end, we're trying to have as many positive contributors to society when they're leaving our program. Motivation in my classroom. There's two different types of motivation. There's intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation comes from within the person. You do things because they have meaning to you and you can see the value in them. Intrinsic motivation and self-responsibility are linked together. You can't have one without the other. Intrinsic motivation increases independence in children and in adults. Extrinsic motivation, you do things because you're being bribed, you're doing things because you're being threatened or even rewarded, or sometimes even punished. That causes dependency. And if you're only motivated extrinsically, you're not going to be able to do things on your own. So in my program, I have the 5 C's of intrinsic motivation. Number 1 is control. I avoid punishment by redirecting students and or changing the environment. Number 2 is challenge. I like to challenge them physically, mentally, and emotionally each and every day. Number 3, curiosity. I keep the kids mentally engaged in new activities. I like to think that if I wouldn't have fun doing the activity, I won't make my students do it. Number 4 is creativity. I allow the children to express themselves in a safe environment and have input on what we do on a weekly or monthly basis. And finally, the 5th C is constant feedback. I adapt techniques, I apply new strategies, I talk to the children on how they think a lesson went or what we could do different next time. My curriculum for the lower elementary, we are doing the EPIC curriculum, EPEC. It stands for Exemplary Physical Education Curriculum. Daily lessons include an introduction, then a warm-up, a skill theme for the day, activity time, a cool down, and then finally closure at the end of our lesson. Lower elementary and preschool students see me twice a week for 40 minutes a day. Upper elementary and middle school also see me for 2 times a week, 40 minutes, and then middle school, they'll see me for an hour. And I'm actually teaching a circuit training elective on Wednesdays with our middle schoolers. For the upper L and middle school, it's slightly different. Lower L, we build a strong foundation, and then in the upper L, we start to get into gameplay. We use a sport education model developed at Ohio State University. Students learn individual responsibilities and cooperative learning skills. During each sport unit, children have responsibilities such as being a team captain, learning how to lead others, being the team manager. They're informed and they're going to be using equipment and they're going to be communicating with their team captain on what they need for the day. Students will referee their games. Now, I will be helping, but I like to give the students the opportunity to put themselves in somebody else's shoes. Refereeing can be one of the toughest jobs in sports, and they get the opportunity to see just how difficult it is. The sport units that we do are basketball, floor hockey, kickball, soccer, ultimate frisbee, team handball, tennis, disc golf, and a dance unit. Students will also have the opportunity to, excuse me, reach out of their comfort zone. For instance, last week I brought in an old set of golf clubs for our middle schoolers. We went out onto the field with plastic golf balls and we went through a golf lesson. I set up a driving range outside and then a small 6-hole golf course. None of my middle school students had experience with golf, but I think that if you were here to witness, all of them were having a great time, and now they can see if it sparked an interest that they can carry throughout the rest of their lives. And that's my program.
Great. Thank you, Brett. I see
Thank you.
applauding. Thank you so much, Brett. And of course, that's always a special time of the day for each one of our students when they come into your program. Thank you so much. We really greatly appreciate that. And now, next up, we'd like to introduce you to your children's art instructor, Lynn Manuel. Lynn?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Lynn Manuel. I'm the art director here at Dearborn Heights Montessori. I've been here for many years and still enjoying all my years. I went to the University of Toledo. I began taking art lessons at the Toledo Museum of Art at the age of 8. Not that I was a prodigy, just that some teacher thought I was pretty good, so she decided that I should go into the museum to have some more experiences. My children also went to school here, and they're both now high school teachers. I think it's important to remind everybody that art stimulates both sides of the brain. It teaches children that there are multiple solutions to problems, and it helps children develop self-confidence. And I think so it has all kinds of elements beneath just the picture that you're seeing that the student has created. In preschool, I meet with the children on Mondays. This past Monday, we began talking about the different things that you can use to create art with. So they saw examples of one puppy who I call Picasso the puppy, drawn in pencil, crayon, pen and ink, so they could see how it's the same shape, but it looks different by what the artist uses. The next meeting that we have, we need to use our imaginations. We are going to create a time machine using our favorite color and our favorite shape. And we're going to deck it all out with whatever their imagination brings to them. We talk about what kind of a steering wheel you need, and does it have to be a circle? It can be anything you want. The reason we create a time machine is that each week thereafter, we're going to travel back in time to find out what kind of art there was. So we live at number 10, we go back to number 1, that's the early humans. And I always bring something in. Here is some burned up charcoal. And I ask them if they really think you can make art with that. And as we move through time, we'll stop off in the Renaissance and we'll meet Leonardo da Vinci and his friends. And I remind them they are not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that they borrowed the name. And then we go further on. We'll, at some point, we'll meet the Impressionists. And I always have a story. Here's a story about the magical garden of Claude Monet. And I always try to have things that the children can look at that are real from that time, self-portraits of the artists, artifacts. Here's an artifact of ancient Egypt, so that the children know that there are real things. It's not just in a book. By the time we get to the end, we are talking about Andy Warhol and Georgia O'Keeffe, an artist of the 20th and sometime I'm going to stick in a 21st century one like Romero Brito. The extended day students also, they attend that class, but then they have an extra class, an art studio class, where we talk about the elements of art: line, shape, color, pattern. I have a story that goes with each work that we do. This past week, we traced our hands and then put straight lines, curved lines, zigzag, and dotted, creating patterns all over our hands. on paper, not on our real hands. They will be experiencing cutting lessons, paper weaving lessons, creating coiled pottery, crayon resist, and finally printmaking when we get towards the end of the year. And the printmaking is done on a foam paper plate with markers. So they color it all in, and then I help them flip it over and print it. Lower elementary classes meet on Tuesday. It's a 75-minute art class, so they have plenty of time to explore and learn. This year, the art room has been rearranged, socially distanced. The children wear masks when they're in here. I have dots around the carpet, so they sit on a green dot and they are socially distanced from the person next to them. When they go to the tables, there's 2 people per table, but they're at the far ends of the table. They bring their art materials in with them, and they always sit in the same seat. I am adding to their art materials watercolors, oil crayons, and chalky pastels, so that we can expand our horizons a little bit on the kind of work that they do. So far, they did a very simple work. We had a lesson on crayons. 10 different ways to use a crayon. I think we all forgot how to do that. It's not just coloring in a coloring book, but there's textures you can add to the crayon. You can blend the colors. So I'm trying to have some lessons to follow up with that activity. They also we're studying things at night, and we studied bats. So they created their own bats, and there's the moon and some bats hanging around, floating around. They really liked that. I actually had a story with that gave facts about bats, not just Halloween bats, but real bats. The upper elementary students come in here on Thursdays to the same environment where we are socially distanced. I also give each student a spritz of hand sanitizer on their way out, so that we're trying to follow the directives that have been given to us. The upper elementary work is a little more challenging for the students, as well it should be. We are also talking about things in the night, but we read a story called House in the Night, and the students are creating using different techniques, hatching, cross-hatching, and stippling. All they used was a white pencil on black paper, and then they cut out some gold color. So if you looked at a house in the night, the lights would be on, so there'd be a little glow from the windows. So it's something different. Actually, I don't like to do the same thing over and over, so we've never done this before. I think it challenged them. Stippling is like almost like little dots, something like what Surratt would do. And I was pleased to hear that a lot of them remembered from their lesson in preschool when I taught them ... Surratt as a way to remember it. So they say it like automatically. That was fun. They also, I had some crayon lessons for the upper elementary, but it's more advanced. They're drawing animals with attitude. And this is a red panda. And the background, if you look carefully, is bamboo. So this student really, really, really brought in what made the animal real for him. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. There are other lessons, macaws in the night, and they'll be using oil crayon with that. So I have lessons planned. Some materials, because of COVID, are delayed in being delivered. So we're still enjoying ourselves. And right now, the upper elementary started folk art. And they are creating art similar to what we find in traditional Mexican art. Designing cats and roosters with a lot of decor, and then cutting out flowers to add to the page. So they're in the midst of that. Nobody has finished that particular work yet. When we get to the middle school, there's a middle school elective on Wednesday afternoons. The beginning of that lesson is I come up with some sort of a theme. This year it's landscapes. Last year it was still life. The student then finds an artist that they really love their work and use that artist style to create their piece of art. Last week was the first week for that, and the 3 students immediately chose artists, which doesn't usually happen. So it was kind of interesting. One student chose the illustrator of Calvin and Hobbes. He wants to do the backgrounds from that. The other 2 students, one chose Vincent van Gogh and the other chose Monet because they like the color and the complication of Vincent van Gogh's work. They need to write a research paper so they really know their artist and their style. I try to tie it into whatever the theme in the classroom is for that moment. Sometimes it's structures, sometimes it's elements. And I'll say to them, what structures were in place that helped this artist or hindered this artist? That's the first thing that they do. Then they begin sketching. We do time sketches, 1 through 6 minutes. So they realize that they don't put all the details in their 1 minute sketch. And then they take that sketch and transfer that to canvas. By rubbing charcoal on the back, you flip it over on the top, draw with a pen, and all your lines are then on your canvas that you need for your basics. It's not every detail because that's all done with paint. So they will learn the process of transferring, they'll learn how to sketch, and painting techniques. I have a DVD for them on simple acrylic techniques. It also shows them how to wash the brush, which is very important. If you let it dry in there, the brushes are no longer able to be used. Finally, at the very end, they have a presentation day with all the electives, and they will present their work to their fellow students. They'll talk about their artists, but they'll also talk about their experience. What was it like? Did you struggle with? What was easy? Did you really like painting with acrylics, or would you choose something else if you had an option at another time? That's all I have in my paint box for today, so I'm going to send it back to Miss Laura.
Well, that's certainly plenty to have in your paint box, Lynn.
It's overflowing.
For sure, it is overflowing. And again, the students are really actively involved in this class as they are with the others too. Always interesting, always productive, always fun. And again, and I know the teachers are sharing this with you, but in addition to really providing rich specials curriculum to your children, we are so grateful that they have made all the protocols and all the policies that we have set forth, that they have put them into place and that they have made it work so that your students are still continuing to have all the rich classes and the rich curriculum that they deserve to have. And I'm really pleased and proud of these teachers that they're making it work. So thank you. Next is the person that I call the Magic Man. His name is Tony Lombardo, and he's our technology coordinator. I call him the Magic Man because I will reach out to him with some problem that I have with my computer or anything technological. And it's very confusing for me. He comes in, he pushes a button, and it all goes away like magic, and it's perfect. So he is magic to me, and I know he's magic to our students as well. So I'd like to introduce to you Tony Lombardo.
Hi, I'm Tony Lombardo. I'm the technology coordinator here at Dearborn Heights Montessori. So I'm going into my 15th year here at the school. And with the technology coordinator, what that means here is that I assist the staff and students with any technology needs or questions that they have. I take care of the technology needs around the building, and I deliver the technology curriculum to our students here. Growing up and still living across the border in Windsor, I have a computer science degree and a degree in education from the University of Windsor. So technology classes start at the first level here, and I see the groups once a week. That's true in lower L and upper L. They come to see me in the computer room here once a week. Students are coming into the school very familiar with technology nowadays. Right from first grade, they've been exposed to smartphones, tablets, laptops, other smart devices. Even earlier than that, they know what they're doing basically. And the goal while they're here though, is to get them familiar with technology that'll help them in their classroom and with tools that'll help them with their problem solving skills and even creativity. So the first thing we start off with is just getting comfortable with the computer. They practice with the keyboard and mouse. They get familiar with starting up a program. things like saving and retrieving their work, sending work to the printer, even just turning the computers on and off, just being really comfortable with them. For the most part, we use online tools now, such as typing.com for keyboarding, and even websites like that, typing.com, they've gone beyond keyboarding to computer basic skills, and they even do coding now. So as they progress, other programs and websites get introduced to show that computers can be more than just about playing games or watching videos online and things like that, but they can be used for creativity, for research, for problem solving. So for example, one of the newer programs that's been popular with the students in the last year or two is Pixton, which is a website that lets students create stories in a comic book style. So they can pick from different backgrounds, different characters, different poses for their characters, and they can illustrate a story that they can share with their classmates, or they can even print out and take home with them if they like. The last few years has also seen our lower elementary students introduced to coding. So we use code.org and Codable for the most part, which gives students an opportunity to practice coding skills by solving puzzles like leading characters through a maze, often using popular games like Minecraft, the characters from those programs that a lot of them are already familiar with. Going into upper elementary, the focus starts to shift a little bit to tools they can use for research and presentation. Mobile technology is a lot more prevalent. There's several community iPads available for them to use, and a lot of them have their own devices as well. They also get introduced to cloud technologies like Apple's iCloud or Google's online programs, Google Docs, Google Slides. They start to become familiar with those, learn how to log in and use those as well. And they use those a lot once they get into middle school for sharing work with their teachers and with each other. They still have fun with programs like Pixton. They keep working with their coding. Coding is taken one step further in upper elementary. We get introduced to the Lego Mindstorms kits, which you can kind of see behind me there. And they've been using those for the last couple of years now in upper elementary. So now they're able to build a robot with their kits and see the results of their coding in a more concrete way once they see their robots act out what they programmed it to do. The technology curriculum always evolves as technology changes. The robotics kits, mobile technology, cloud services, all of them are fairly recent. They weren't available even to most people just years ago, and as they become available to in general to society, our students get introduced to them as they come along, so we try to keep things as up to date as possible. Once they get into the middle school, students are able to choose robotics as one of their electives, and that's where kind of we started off with the robotics was with the middle schoolers first. So building on their experiences with robotics in upper elementary, students are building more complex robots and taking a deeper look at the program that goes into it. They also look at how robotics are used in the world today, from healthcare to the automotive industry to space exploration and any other areas that the students might be interested in. There's some way that robotics and even artificial intelligence is affecting it today. Usually the middle school students, they'll have a group that's interested in helping out with technology needs in the middle school or around the rest of the school. So they may do things like help with projectors and other AV needs with their classmates, or they may help with things like lights and sound for any productions that we're able to do during the school year here, basically. So they're always happy and thrilled to help out with that for sure. So overall, I would say the goal of the technology curriculum is to show students how they can use technology in a productive way. Whatever they may be interested in, if it's storytelling, if it's coding, if it's robotics, there's usually some way to take it a little bit further with technology. And I also have a pretty steady stream of students that come to my door, either here or in my office, to come see me throughout the day. So they might need help with technology, or they might have questions about it, or they're just trying to get something done and they have questions for me, and I'm always very happy to help them out with that and get them going with technology just a little bit further. So that's an overview of a little bit of what I do here during the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. And that's a full program, that's for sure. And we're all grateful to you because all of us here in the school, in addition to the students, rely on Tony to help us out. So thank you very much. We appreciate hearing some of the things, the great things that are happening in your class as well. And last, finally, but not least, is our Spanish teacher, Carlos Chavez. Carlos?
Yes. Hola, mi nombre es Señor Carlos. I am 45 years old. I have 20 years of experience in different schools. I have 5 children, and I am from Peru. I have a degree in arts from the University of Art in Havana, Cuba. I also write theater for children in Spanish. In 2016, I obtained the National Prize for Children Playwriting in Peru. And I have been in Michigan for 10 years. Here in Michigan, I have been a Spanish teacher in different schools for Cornell Montessori, University Preparatory in Detroit, and Somerset Academy. Also, I am owner of Bright Loritos. It's a foreign language academy for kids from 1 year to 14 years old children. We have 3 locations in Oakland County, in Troy, Novi, and Rochester. This year, I am teaching at all levels and Dearborn High Montessori. And now I want to talking about benefits and methods. So children can acquire language like learning to walk, no, because it's a natural process for them. They naturally absorb second language through play and exploration. So I want to share with you some benefits. Many studies agree that exposure of child to a foreign language improves the brain for planning, solving problems, and performing various other mentally demanding tasks. So for this reason, exposing child to another language will improve your child's overall academic performance. Early foreign language exposure create an impression for different cultures that prepare students to become aware to the world around them. And yeah, so the Loritos methods. So Bright Loritos is have different levels, no? With Loritos meaning parrots. So we have curriculum for parakeets, for parrots, and for macaw. Okay, we promote world language acquisition through immersion, comprehensible input-based language, communication, and play. The method is backed by a dedicated team of language experts. I try to stimulate a child's natural way of learning language by exposing them to meaningful language input and make a communication comprehensible, okay? Through the parroting, so repetition, parroting, okay, of high frequency vocabulary and phrases during each unit. What we do in class, so we use models of TPR, so it's a total physical response, so I can say mirar, no, o escuchar, o caminar, correr, okay, and TPRS as a teaching proficiency through reading and storytelling to make language input comprehensible. We communicate in target language during the entry class, so you know my English is no good, okay, but so it's better for all kids. So we rely on teaching high frequency word and phrases in engaging context through activities and games. We use facial expression, we use drawing, visual, we integrate music and art, and with language learning. We create lyrics and sing to reinforce high frequency vocabulary while practice pronunciation. We practice writing and reading in the target language. We start to create computer learning resources for family and students, because for the special year, yeah, you know, the last year, we in the academy we try to all curriculum put in for Zoom, for online, with play and some. Okay, in preschool I'm teaching Monday and Friday, 30 minutes for group. Our goal at this level is for children to have an approach to Spanish through song and games, checking numbers, colors. The whole year will divide into units. I use the Parakids curriculum, okay, for this age. For lower elementary level, we will follow the Parrot curriculum, following with unit and where we will do projects, develop vocabulary and form sentence in context. Each unit has a video, a story, and a particular vocabulary for lower elementary. Lower elementary is Tuesday and Thursday, is for 40 minutes. For upper elementary level, we are using the book and workbook La Pandilla. It is structured in 6 thematic blocks At this level, we are already saying verb and context, writing and speaking. For middle school, we're using the book Avancemos. It also has a workbook. For 7th grade, we have a book A, and for 8th grade, we have book B. We will have friendly quiz every week, okay? It's very friendly, and to see the progress of the students. For students who are doing school online, I have all the book and resources in PDF, and I will share them class by class all in the morning. That's it, I am finished.
Well, thank you, Carlos. Thank you very much. I would like to thank everybody today for coming to join us for this meeting. I hope it's given you some snippets of conversation that you can share with your children. Often we'll go home at night and say to our children, how was your day? And they'll, great, great, what happened? Well, I had snack. And you're like, yes, what else? So I hope that by hearing from each one of these 5 special teachers, hearing what they're doing and the richness of what your children are receiving in their classes gives you an opportunity to talk with your children about, did you do this in gym today? Or what about Spanish? And, gives you a framework to have a discussion with your children. And that was one of the things that we were hoping to accomplish today, in addition to giving you a good overview of what's happening within the walls of our school and with your children each and every day. Again, we'd like to thank all of you. I'm not seeing questions coming up in the chat box, so we would like to thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found it helpful. Oh, wait, here comes a question. Yes, you may ask questions. Someone just asked, may we ask questions? Absolutely. Waiting to see if it comes up. Carlos, is it possible to get a handout for Spanish? It would be helpful if we knew the age of your child. Lower elementary.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
The answer is yes. Okay, I can make a note for that as well for you. It helps if we can review the words at home. They want to follow up with you. That's great. That's offering wonderful support at home, and it's really encouraging the children to continue to learn. Muchas gracias, Carlos.
De nada.
That's great. If there are other questions, we're certainly happy to help you with those questions and answer anything that we can. Otherwise, we would again like to thank you for joining us today to take time out from your special worlds. I know a lot of you are working at home, so thank you for taking time from your lives to come and learn about what's happening within our walls that unfortunately for now, you can't come in, but we're gonna let you in as soon as we can. As soon as we can open those doors, we can't wait to welcome you in. In the meantime, please stay well, please stay healthy, and we will take great care of your children when they're with us. Thank you.